Ankh and Ma'at, Ankh and Ma'at. I'm hoping you see us clearly. Oh,
You can't put it too far because we need something in the back.
of course, part of what is going on today is Hamneder and Tepi forgot the tripod. I wasn't supposed to cop to it so early, was I? No. But I believe you can see us clearly, and that is very good. Come on in, come on in. We're about to begin. We will not be here long. For those of you who are not on the East Coast, you've probably heard about the heat wave that New York City is in the middle of. But you know that if we are going to be here when it snows, if we're going to be here when there's a sheet of ice in this space that's at least an inch thick, we're going to be here when it's hot. And so we are here today, and we are so honored that you have come to join us. Please come on in. Yeah, that's a good idea. Excellent.
There you go.
Excellent. So let me say Ankh and Ma'at to you all. I'm so honored that you've chosen to join us for our summer solstice celebration. For our summer solstice celebration. I'm honored to be here with. It still moved, didn't it? With two other priests. Let's get something heavier.
I got it.
With two other priests.
That's much heavier.
Yeah? It's not angled.
You get the right angle. That one.
Wonderful. Wow. I'm honored to be here with two other priests. You are seeing Hamneder Amos, and you're seeing Hamneder Waziri. So the three of us are here to help you welcome in this period. You may know this already. I hope you do. Roughly 3 hours ago, nearly 3 hours ago, we entered the solstice. We entered the summer. So we are no longer in spring. We are now in the summer because the summer solstice occurred on June 20th at 4:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make your calculation for wherever on the back of Geb you are, wherever in the world you are. But recognize that we have now crossed the solstice. We'll talk a little bit more about what that means, but the first thing that we should do, the thing that we do whenever we gather, the thing that you even individually should do when you are about to do something important is what? For those of you who are members of the Shrine of Ma'at, I'm glancing really quickly. Look, I'm looking at it on a phone. So if I miss people, please chalk that up to my small phone screen and not to my heart. But I do see Hemet Inter Seshat just came through. Ankh and Ma'at to you. Let me say, what do we do when we gather? What do we do when we do something important? I see question me and Hemet Netter and Netter Seshat say the opening of the way. Correct. We will begin with the opening of the way. So remember, this is not theater. You're supposed to be doing it with us. Stand where you are. And what we want you to do is to stand with your left foot forward, your right foot a bit back, then expose your palms in front of you. As you expose your palms, recognize that the left hand is a little bit further forward than the right palm, and the right palm is a little bit further down. This is known as the pose of adoration. You will see this exact pose on walls in temples, walls in tombs, and on papyri. This is the position that our African, Kemetic, Cushitic ancestors used as they gave and received divine energy. And so we ask that you stand in the pose of adoration. And I believe that we have Hemet Netter Waziri leading us in the opening today. So please proceed.
Take a deep breath and pronounce the word of life. Network in Bahet.
Network in Bedhead.
Nuke in Bahet.
Nuke in Bedhead.
Network happy.
Network happy.
Nuke happy.
Nuke happy.
Tuau and Tor.
Tuau and
To your right. Network circuit.
Network circuit.
Nuke circuit.
Nuke circuit.
Network Kepsanu.
Network Kepsanu.
Nuke Kepsanu.
Nuke Kepsanu.
Tuau and Tor.
Tuau and
To your right. Network us.
Network us.
Nuke us.
Nuke us.
Network Amset.
Network Amset.
Nuke Amset.
Nuke Amset.
Tuau and Tor.
Tuau and
Turn to the right. Network neat.
Network neat.
Nuke neat.
Nuke neat.
Network Tuamotep.
Network Duamotep.
Nuke Tuamotep.
Nuke Duamotep.
Tuau and Tor.
Tuau and
Turn to your right. Network Newt.
Network Newt.
Newt.
Nuke Newt.
Network Gib.
Network Geb.
Nuke Gib.
Nuke Geb.
Tuau and Tor.
Tuau and
Network Shoot.
Network Shoot. 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 Shoot.
Nuke Shoot.
Nuke Shoot.
Network Tefnut.
Network Tefnut. 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 Nuke Tefnut.
Tuau and Tor.
Tuau and
Network Paut.
Network Palut.
Network Paut in Teru.
Nuke Paut and Teru.
Nuke Paut in Teru.
Network and Boo.
Network and Boo.
Network and Boo in Teru.
Nuke and Boo and Teru.
Nuke and Boo in Teru.
Tuau and Tor.
Tuau and Twanter. I hope you did the opening of the way with us. Dwa to Hemneter Waziri for leading us. I hope you did it with us. Remember, this is not theater. We are opening the way, preparing for the work that we must do in this period. As we enter the summer months, as we enter that period where those of us who have focused on the movements of Ra as they appear in the heavens from our position on the planet Earth, as we prepare for this period and we bask in the sun and we enjoy ourselves and we eat sweet fruits and we do all those things we love to do during the summer, you must be prepared. You must be prepared. And so it is through the opening of the way and through our ceremonies for each of the equinoxes and each of the solstices that we prepare. With that, I would like to purify our priests that are here. And so you will see that I am purifying using both incense and water from the Hapi, from this sacred river. And as we prepare for our work during this period, I want you at home to stand with your arms clasped left over right over your ob and think about those things that occurred. Think about those things that you did during the preceding period. Think about those things that you need to restore, that you need to Siruj Ma'at for, so that you can move into this new period in peace and power, in divine balance. So please, as we purify, feel free to think of those things and chant the word for life. Ankh. Let us begin. As we recognize the power of the movements of Ra, as our ancestors studied, as our ancestors focused upon for probably tens of thousands of years, but we have an understanding that our African ancestors were the first to chart the movements of the stars in the heavens. And I want you to understand that our ancestors in the Kush Kemet Valley, around that river that we know as the Hapi, today misnomered the Nile, as they focused on the movements of Ra, they did something amazing. They didn't just watch the movements of the sun, they watched the movements of the rest of the stars in the area. And as they watched the movements of the stars, they recognized that those stars were in fact distant suns. Can you imagine that as you look at the myriad of stars in the nighttime sky, almost every single one of them is a star with its own planetary system? That's mind-boggling when I think about that. That you are in fact looking at distant suns. And they became so attuned to this fundamental principle of as above, so below, that they could look at a distant sun and recognize that it was in divine concordance with the movements, with the behavior of their divine river known as the Hapi. They could watch that star known as Sephedet, and Sephedet would help them understand when their river was going to overflow. Understanding when their river was going to underflow was fundamentally important to them. Imagine living in the desert. Living in the desert is a very difficult thing to do because in order for us to live, we must have access to water, fresh water. Imagine living in the desert and then happening upon this beautiful, this magnificent river. In fact, the longest river in the world. And as you are living next to this river, perhaps you have set up some sort of establishment on that river with your family. All of a sudden, you begin to notice something peculiar. This river is swelling. Not only does it swell, but it is going to overflow its banks in what most unrefined, unstudied people would probably consider a monumental catastrophe. If you were a lesser people, if you were a people that were not studied in the divine as above, so below, you would get out of there as fast as you could. But instead, your ancestors, being the advanced people in an advanced civilization that they were, they understood how to live in harmony with the river by looking at the sacred as above, so below. And because of their study of this river, they were able to grow more food than virtually any other nation in the Mediterranean region, in the North Africa region. This is fascinating. And so they understood that we need to govern our lives by those immutable, those powerful, what should I even call them? Arcs that the heavens give us. And so at a time like a solstice, they would be thinking, well, we know that solstice today means sol, sun, and stis means still. We know that the sun is going to do something quite curious. The sun is going to, from our vantage point on the planet Earth, it looks like as the sun rises in a different point of the sky every day, all of a sudden, the sun does something curious. It rises in the same point in the sky for 3 days. And then that next day, it proceeds to move. So our ancestors recognized that this was a curious period. And it happened twice in the year, the summer solstice and what we call the winter solstice. This was the sacred astrotheological drama that we then began to describe to the young people in the region. And they took that drama and made it literal. Somebody is going to get mad at me. But as a priest of Ma'at, I'm here to tell you the truth. That great story is not about the resurrection of the sun, S-O-N. It is about the resurrection of the sun, S-U-N. And this is of critical importance for us to understand. So what would we do if we said the sun, that orb in the sky that allows us all to live? What would we do if we said the sun was going to die to be reborn? This is the time to ensure that you are in divine balance. This is the time for you to Seruj Ma'at. And just as our ancestors did, likely for tens of thousands of years in the Hopi Nile Valley region, so should you do. This is a time for you to restore Ma'at. This is a time for you to go deep and to reach out to those people who might have been harmed by your actions and speak to them. This is a time for you to make amends for that which you've done or that which you have not done. This is the time to resume, to restore your relationships. This is the time. I'm asking that each of you do something simple for us. Think of 7 things that you will do in order to Seruj Ma'at, to restore Ma'at. And as you prepare for those things, you should do them today. Don't wait past tomorrow at 4:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give yourself about 24 hours. Now, I know that it's almost 8 p.m., so you're a little bit late. What do you mean you're late? Hurry up. You only got 23 hours to go, 20 hours to go. Go ahead and Seruj Ma'at. This is the time for us to practice the divine as above, so below. And so we ask that you will do this. We ask that you won't get carried away with eating sweet mangoes. We ask that you won't be carried away laying out in the sun because you were left inside trying to get yourself all brown and beautiful. I know that my legs probably look all yellow. Oh, I see. We just had a little hiccup in the network. That's what just happened. Did all of you see that black screen, or was it just me? Anyway, the network hiccups. Did you see that? Anyway, with that, please write down those 7 things and take it to your altar. Take it to your altar and do your sacred work. Do your sacred work. Make sure that you are Ceremonial. With that, we're not supposed to be here for a long time. We're supposed to be here for a magnificent time. Can I ask if our priests, our members of the Wenwet that are here with me, have anything they'd like to say to the folks at home about the summer solstice? Any thoughts? Please go ahead. Any, as long as they can see you.
Well, as you know, there were 3 seasons for our ancestors. We call this time the inundation. This is when the happy Nile River overflowed its banks and brought in the settlements, the rich settlements from upper Ethiopia and Kenya and all that, the higher mountains downland and into the soil. So in a turn, we enrich the soil at this time. We enrich our soul at this time, our inner being, our essence. We do this through rituals such as fasting, prayer, meditation, devotion, recreation, all these things that help us to achieve these things that we need to inundate our soil so we can plant something that it may grow. We use the word myrrh a lot, and if you go and look into ancient texts, that glyph was a plow. Mm-hmm. If you ever had, my grandfather was a farmer. There are certain types of plows, but the plow is used to prepare the soil to plant something. So this is what you are doing at this time. You're using your own personal plow to plant the soil in your inner soul, inner spirit, heart, mind, spirit, so something new can grow this season.
Dua. Henrietta Waziri, would you like to say something?
So one of the things, just to piggyback off on what Amos had said, one of the things of the fact of dealing with myrrh and the plow. So one of the things is very important to understand, like Henrietta Shabari said, that we are doing cultivating. And at this time was Ceremonial mind. So as I think about those things, earlier this year I started my personal detox, and with that detox, I'm looking to cultivate that to being able to bring forth the healing that's necessary for my body, and also the cultivating, plowing, the necessary things that I need to do for my family and everything else. So that's one of the things that's so important when we understand the summer solstice, because it's hot out here. But at times before, when we've been out here, and it's been cold. So we don't have no excuses.
That's right.
Right? So
that's right.
The bottom line is get to doing what we need to do for one another. And you should take that time. And as Maria has said, we got 22 more hours, 23, 22, whatever the case may be. But write it down and get on it. So it's very important to understand who you are and what you are. And as he said, as above, so below. So definitely cultivate that energy and bring forth your best self as we go forth in this year.
Dwa. As I was walking up here, lugging stuff so that we could be here at the check-in, I said, it's hot. And Hennetter was here, he said, it's better to be hot than cold. And he said that knowing, because the three of us and many of you who are on at home have been here when it's been freezing. We were here one time at the winter solstice, and the ice, it was literally about an inch thick. And we were here to stomp a pep. And I remember thinking, maybe this is not the time to do the stomp a pep, because stomping on 1 inch of ice might actually be a problem, right? Thankfully, a Twanter, everyone was safe. No one slipped and broke a hip or knocked their head on the ground. But I just want you to know that we're doing this work regardless of whether we are in the sun or in the darkness, regardless of whether we are here during the wonderful warmth of the summer or the bitter cold of the winter. And so should you. This is the work that our ancestors have done. Or spring or fall are decent. It's the winter and the summer that we're like, what's going on?
We're giving a hint here. We want to see some people.
That's right. That means that we're going to be here for the fall. And don't ask us when is the fall equinox.
Right.
Ask. If I say her name, she might respond. Ask your automated system on your phone when the spring equinox is. And if you want to join us here in person, you will know that we will be here. We have only in maybe about 10 years now. It's been about 10 years. We've only missed one, and that was because this entire area of the park was closed. That's the only reason why we've missed it. And I'm going to say to you, we still stood out on the sidewalk and did a little something. So just know we don't miss this, and neither should you. With that, let me say to you, we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. We're going to just say to you very quickly, this is the simplest Hesi I could possibly do. Just think of as you go forth in this wonderful season, continue to say to yourself, Ankuja Seneb, 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 Seneb. I am hoping that you will go through and have a wonderful solstice. Ankin Ma'at to all of you. And let me say to you, Seruj Ma'at and Shemen Ma'at. Restore balance and walk in divine balance. We miss you too, Sashat. I'm seeing a bunch of you. I'm only seeing a few of your messages because I'm scrolling on my phone, y'all. Come on, I can't talk to you like I normally do. But please, go forth and have a wonderful, wonderful solstice. We will see you all soon. Shemen Ma'at.
Shemen Ma'at.
And I guess before we go, let's just let you know, for those of you who are never here, we are standing here. Look at that. Do you see the Tekken? We are standing this isn't a model Tekken. This is the oldest human-made structure in the United States. The oldest human-made structure in the United States. That's what we're standing at. We're here at the Tekken in Central Park. They're going to call it an obelisk. They're going to even call it Cleopatra's Needle. It ain't a needle, and Cleopatra had nothing to do with it. But you should recognize, if you're going to join us for the fall equinox, you're going to have to be here, okay? Look at this name here. They have it as the obelisk. The obelisk. It is not a needle. It is not a needle. Needle is not an obelisk. It is the Tekken. Join us for the next celebration so we can see you soon. Shemen Ma'at. We'll see you soon. Peace. Yes.